Marc Finney. How you doing, Mark?
I'm going well, mate. Thank you.
Welcome
thanks
back.
for having me again.
Yeah, good
Crikey,
to see you.
Third time lucky.
Yeah. For me, to have you back on the channel. You've just driven up, what, 2 hours in the rain?
Yeah, shocking journey up, but it's always worthwhile coming up to see you, Tristan. So,
Brilliant, yeah. Well, thanks for joining the channel.
Pleasure.
Right, for those of you who've seen Mark on the channel before, Mark specialises in personal training and you come from a rugby background. If you just want to remind everyone what it is.
Yeah, so I've been doing it a few years now, so you probably say I'm an experienced personal trainer or strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah.
But I love this, and I'm just paraphrasing for somebody else. All that experience seems to me now is that I've made a lot of mistakes in the past.
Yeah.
But I've hopefully learned from those mistakes and in a better place to offer out advice to people that come and see me. But yeah, my background started as a postgraduate sport and exercise science student, and then started the journey of fitness training. I worked at the local football club at Lincoln City for a while. Did a few seasons there under some different managers, and my passion and interest and really grew from there for it. I'm very much a practical, hands-on type of person. I was always felt that the theoretical principles is fine, but actually I want to know how can I use that information in the real world. So I've always wanted to get in front of people. So that took me on a journey as a strength and conditioning specialist. I ended up working in elite rugby for the best part of 15 years. Spent 10 years at Northampton UK, had some successful years there, finished as head of strength and conditioning. And then through consultancy, working at Coventry Rugby, I had a nice little spell with Akali Tahi, Tonga Rugby as well. So really down the rugby route, although I came from a footballing background, but ultimately strength and conditioning coach, they need to be able to be multi-skilled to work with all sorts of different athletes. So since setting up my own business, I've opened the doors and had the pleasure of working with all sorts of people, from racing drivers through to people that have had serious injuries and brain injuries. Lots of lower limb type injuries. I help guys overcome ACLs, knee injuries, ankles, hips. So I think now I've got a reasonable toolbox. But in the last few years, I've tried to focus more on my online offerings as well, and people my age, your age, over 50s guys now that want to sort of find time for this health and fitness stuff, but a lot of the time they're very busy. They've got family lives, they've got a lot going on, a lot on their plates, but also they understand that time is creeping along and they want to look after themselves better, so that their 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s are healthy, and they're robustly healthy and able to thrive rather than struggle. So that's the sort of thing I'm working on now.
Well, for those people that know me personally, I mean, you talk about 50s. This week I was 55. All the fives are none. And
looking well, boy.
Well, you know, you got 55. I mean, I started training at 11. So I've had 44 years of fitness training, in martial arts. So now I always think of you as Mark come from a rugby background, but I know before you have gone from football. And I've gone through different sports as well. And we're just talking off camera. You know, I've got a little bit of knee pain at the moment, which you're going to help me out with whilst I'm on the phone sometime in the week.
Sure.
But the thing is, Mark, what I found is, all right, I've got a bit of knee pain. There's nothing to see here. Move along. That's what I say to people, you know. But the knee pain has gone from acute to chronic now, and I've put it down to the impact on my body with what I do at work and out of my work as well. But probably more so, I might have pinpointed it down to cycling. You know, not endurance cycling, just going out on my mountain bike. Because I've had pretty good knees for 25 years now. I injured them in basketball in my late 20s, early 30s. Then they've been sort of fine, and now here we are now, and I've got knee pain, and it's becoming a point where I'm going to have to go and get a scan or get it looked at. But I think about it, someone of my age, 55, a bloke who's 55 who doesn't train, who's got knee pain, it's possibly going to be from inactivity and obesity. Not from the wear and tear from a lifetime of sports.
And so carrying that extra weight is huge on the body.
It is.
The science is sort of showing that for every pound of mass you lose, you're subtracting 5 pounds of force through the joint.
Interesting.
So you multiply that up. If you've got a guy that's losing 14 pounds, just do the maths. You know, and that's exponentially increased with speed of movement. So if you start running at different speeds, that's greater forces multiplied again. So you've probably got, as a 55-year-old, 55-year-old with a hell of a background in sport, you're going to have some arthritic changes in the area. It's inevitable, right? But you're doing the right sort of work around it to support it. So, you're doing the right thing, mate. Get ahead of the curve and get the scan, so
Yep.
you know what you're dealing with. I always say, let's not guess. Nobody's got MRI eyes.
Yeah.
So let's know what you're dealing with, because then if you measure it and you've assessed it, then
Yeah.
you know what you can do to change it.
Yeah.
And then seeing people like either myself, physio or whatever, to get the plan together. You've got good knowledge, mate. Sounds as though you're doing some good stuff. Anyway.
You know what, though, Mark? It's interesting. I have to remind myself. We're from the 70s. Well, and you
74.
Tony Montana, Scarface. Don't get high off your own supply. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So I've always think that, but then again, I also think to myself, well, I've got the knowledge and quite an extensive knowledge about the body, and I've still got a lot to learn. Yeah. I know I've got a lot to learn, but I've got an extensive knowledge about the body, and I'll take myself through particular exercises, particular parts of diet, rest, active rest, low days, deload days. But at some point, I've got to get out of my own way and say, right, I can't figure it out what's wrong. I think I know what's wrong. But what you just said about no one's got MRI eyes, it's going to say to me, right, Tristan, get out of your own way, go and see a specialist, preferably in knees, at the very least a physiotherapist, and get referred for a scan. And if it comes back, it's patella tendonitis. I've dealt with patella tendonitis before, but I was 29, I was 31 then.
You've got a different knee now.
Things are different now, I'm 55. So, all right, so age. I'm all right. This year I've done some more hair-raising things. I went to China, as you saw, and I spent 4 days in the mountains in the Hunan province. And the difference between the mountains in Hunan in China and the Himalayas in Nepal is the Himalayas are higher, but the mountains in China were hot. Yeah, and it was uncomfortably hot when you're doing physical activity. Great for a day out, walking around, taking on the scenery. But what I said to myself it was beginning of last month when I was high up in the mountains with carabiners on and harnesses on, and I got through it, and it's enjoyable, even though my heart was coming out my ears. My adrenal glands, I think they're still there. I said to myself, but I said to myself, this is why I train, to enjoy things like that. I needed strength, endurance, flexibility, core strength, mobility. Yes, you need a good head for heights. And that comes. Some people have got it or they haven't. And I always say to people, it's not the height that kills you; it's what you hit on the way down. But I said to myself, right, I've got achy knees, sweaty hands. It's no biggie. I'm doing something that most people don't do.
Most 55-year-olds wouldn't do. How many of you, your peers at your age would go, I'm going to do that, or they would be able to physically cope with that sort of thing?
I think
that's the thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of 55-year-olds that train would be physically strong enough.
Right.
55-year-olds that do sports, even five-a-side football, would be flexible enough. But it's whether they control the heart rate and the adrenaline. Because if you can't control the heart rate and the adrenaline, your hands go dead and your feet go. You can't feel your hands and feet because all that blood is here and a bit here, but everything's here. It literally it says, I don't need your limbs at this moment in time. I'm keeping organs going, and you can't feel your.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you can't control your heart rate and your adrenaline, can't feel your hands. So it takes time to actually, to learn how to actually control that, so you can enjoy the day out or enjoy the time in the mountains. But I think for the next year and a half, I'm done now. I think I might go back to golf.
Okay.
Because worst things happen, you play golf, you miss a putt.
Yeah, you miss a putt.
Or you hook a ball and lose it in the trees and blame someone else.
Somebody might twat you with a ball.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario.
By accident. Listen, let's talk about what you're doing in Northampton now as a trainer.
Yeah, so my diary's is pretty busy. I'm doing between sort of 25, 30 sessions of my own appointments.
Yeah. How long away?
Hour appointments. I only have a couple of clients that probably come and see me to squeeze something in for half an hour's. But yeah, big broad variety of different people, different age. I've got sort of my lifestyle type clients, but I've got some sort of pro people as well that are really taking it seriously.
Pro athletes,
Yeah, that I'll see periodically, and then I've got my rehabbers as well that are going through some sort of rehab, and then my online.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple of studios, and Sue, my wife, she's a PT, so we manage that, and we've got another guy that comes in and uses the facility as well. So between the three of us, we're
it's a lot of bodies.
Busy. Yeah, absolutely, and I love it. I'm still motivated. Get up nice and early, and I've got the business to a point now where I can work with people that are highly motivated and want to improve.
Yeah.
It's not sort of wishy-washy goals. They're very, very focused on what they want to achieve. So I enjoy that. I that goal-driven mentality, not somebody that's just coming because they want to tick a box.
Sure. What's the balance of men and women at your place?
I say about 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah, about 50-50. And then my online stuff offering is all about men.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can empathise. I can try and lead by example with how I train, how I look after my body and all those things. And that's what Fit Dad Body Plan's all about. Really.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my week is a combination of some online support as well as that direct delivery still.
Do you get anyone come outside Northampton or even Northamptonshire to see you?
Yeah, quite a few people. Yeah, some people travel quite a bit.
Like a pro athlete. Like.
Yeah. I've got some sort of on the border, but they seek me out.
Yeah.
And I've got some distance sort of athletes as well, which
Right.
I support as well.
Okay. And you online, yeah?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Up onto the app. So once you've done that consultation, which is always done best face to face, then you're sort of building the plan that's going to support them, and then it's just that remote conversations and changes and corrections, and then reviewing every now and then and making sure that they're moving in the right direction. But the apps are good, aren't they now? Your video support and the chat features that you have on apps now, they're great. You can sort of do things quite well.
Well, you talk about ChatGPT. I'm kind of new to it. I've heard of it a while ago, but I'm kind of new to it. And a couple of women in Lincoln that have helped me out with building this channel, they've kind of got me looking at it. And I used it recently for something, just a bit of research on something. It's here to stay, whether we like it or not. And I think we should just, rather than just enjoy the decline, work with it and around it. But also, you mentioned about you like doing consultations in person. I do as well. If I had someone from Sheffield that wanted me to train them online, it's not what I do, but if I did, I'd still want to see them face to face. I'd say, look, I'll come to you, you come to me once or twice, and thereafter, I want to know who I'm dealing with. Because our eyes tell us more. You can look at someone on Zoom or on Microsoft Teams or whatever, but I think the body language side of someone tells me more than what they can type out all day.
Yeah, it's got to be exceptional, really. I had a consultation just on the phone up here, a guy in Somerset who's got slight prolapse lower back disc, but I've no option. He's not going to travel from Somerset.
Sure,
so I'm going to send him the tests to do remotely, and then we'll go through it together. And only in exceptional circumstances, but I would love to see. So you can see how ankles move, how hips move, get physical hands on, and like you say, the presence and the interaction that's going on. You sense body language. Far better back in a room. Together. So
it's part of what we do, Mark.
It's personal.
Personal training. I'll be saying this to the day I die. It's not bodybuilding.
No.
The original personal trainers were probably bodybuilders back in the 70s and 80s. When someone thinks of a personal trainer, generally, or taking away ball sports or athletic sports, the personal trainers generally they were the bodybuilders from California, Midwest, or whatever.
Old beach stuff.
Even in Birmingham, even like Dorian Yates. You know what I mean? He's a trainer now, and that guy's one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. But nowadays, personal training isn't about how big the kettlebell is, how big the barbell is, what paint in the studio. Yes, that's important to aesthetically pleasing or whatever. It's how we deal with people on a personal basis. I've had two clients this morning on a cold Saturday morning. I had an 80-year-old woman, and I had a 53-year-old businessman. Okay,
good for her.
Yeah, I know. 80. That's like older than my mum. That's older than my mum.
That's awesome.
Comes in once a week. Mobility work, walking on the treadmill, bit of flexibility work, and basically conversation with her because she's a widow and kids have all left home. So there's not a lot of conversation for her other than coming to train once a week. Then I had a 53-year-old businessman who's got a wife and 4 daughters and a granddaughter at home, and that guy needs to train hard. He spends a lot of time on airplanes, at airports, in cars. He needs to come in and do the compound movements.
Undo all that shit.
Undo it. What's the feedback when you do an online training with someone? Okay, when someone inquires with you first, like the guy from Somerset or someone on your doorstep, and even though it's on your doorstep, you might get someone who still wants to go online for insert whatever reason. What's the biggest pushback why someone doesn't come on board with online training?
There are a multitude of reasons, and I think that initial conversation helps me qualify whether this person's serious. Are they the right sort of person for me that I want to help and support? And if anything's wishy-washy, they're not really strong on their reasons why they need the support, then they're not my client. And I don't worry about that. They're going to throw all sorts of barriers. I don't really have much time. Rarely is it a financial thing.
That's good.
I always sort of think that if they want it bad enough, because they're spending money on X, Y, and Z.
Of course they are.
And you sort of look at what the support and the offering and what the outcome's going to be for them, you can't put a price on that.
Right.
Obviously, there's a limit for everybody, right? And they've all got different budgets, but yeah, they've got to say it's time. I'm too old. I haven't got access to equipment, and it's my job to kind of just knock down the barriers and find out how serious they are.
Gotcha.
You know, and I think a lot of the time for that 50-year-old group, it comes down to health.
Yeah.
You know, they've either had a scare.
Yeah.
You know, the chap I was talking to earlier in the car, cholesterol result.
Right.
Okay, 54 years old, been training hard. His output's really good.
Okay.
But he sits down a lot. He's a teacher.
Yeah. He can't train his way out of cholesterol.
No, absolutely. So he's going to need some nutrition strategies to support him. He's just not getting anywhere, and his belly fat's getting bigger.
Right.
You know, and then you start to go, well, okay, that's not going to get any better unless we take action.
Yeah.
And we know that the belly fat is the dangerous stuff, the visceral belly fat.
Yeah.
Is kicking out those inflammatory cytokines, the nasty stuff, and then the cascade of events that we know happen through those nasty events are disease, illness, chronic problems.
Yeah.
So we need to reverse that. So he needs help, he needs support. And we'll set some targets.
Yeah.
And we'll sit down and go, what's realistic? What's a 12-week target for you? If you got on the scales, having worked with me for 12 weeks, how would you want that? As you look down, what does that look like? Okay, fine. 6 months from now, what does that look like? And I'm sort of assessing whether that's realistic. You know, if I've got 150 kilo guy and it's like, I want to drop 50 kilos in 6 weeks, it's like, you're not the man for me. And you know, this is not going to work. Yeah. I want to do it in a safe, sustainable way. Otherwise, they'll want to cut corners. Yeah. You know, and we talked about some of the pitfalls. Starving themselves. Pharmaceuticals, yeah, we'll touch on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a quick fix merchant.
Sure.
I want to do it safely, I want to do it effectively. Find out what the real barriers are, and then go from there.
Sometimes,
building a plan.
when you mention about real barriers, when I've had consultations with, we'll call them John or Jill. Yeah. It can take not the consultation and not the summary that I do after. Well, you know, the summary of the consultation when I've typed up all the notes, looked into the medications, read about their meds that they're on, looked at the medical history, the exercise history, any contraindications. It's not even then. It's sometimes a month, 2 months, 3 months into training that something surfaces in the appointment, which your client will in full safety divulge to me, and I think, well, that is not something you brought up in the consultation. Because I don't believe that every client, even if they come in, you know, so anyone can strip down to their drawers and get weighed, even women, yeah? Okay, right, because it's a state of undress for 2 minutes, and it, you know, right. But actually, it'd be something beneath the surface. You scratch beneath the surface with people. It's something that's not about a food source that they are or they're not eating. Yeah. It's not about particular exercise. It's something else that isn't on my question sheet, and they weren't going to divulge anyhow. But what happens is either someone will blurt something out in the middle of an appointment on week 26, or I'll tease it out of them because I've seen the signs before. I've seen the signs before. I've heard a similar story.
Wobble a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. And it could be something else that's nothing to do with the bicep. Yeah. Or the visceral fat, or the right calf. It's something else.
So an external, like a live factor in the background. Yeah. It could be a comment from somebody said something, and that sort of thing. It derails people, doesn't it?
Yeah. Often, when there's and bear in mind, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychiatric doctor, but we've got our senses, and sometimes when it is something else, it always involves another person. When they've got a problem. And it surfaces in personal training. Again, insert however far down the journey we're going to go. When that problem arises, 9 times out of 10, Mark, I've found the client's problem involves someone else, but that doesn't come to consultation because we're asking about their body and their medical history. Yeah. So what I've learned to do in total of 17 years now is try and tease that out of them in the consultation. And I'll say, right, John, you want to get fitter, you want to get better, who's it for? And they usually say, they'll put their hand up and say, for me. Yeah. And I'll say, right, so no one else cares. No one else cares, no one else is going to benefit from you getting healthier. Yeah. John, we'll call him John. Yeah. And then it'll be, well, the wife or the girlfriend. Okay, and why is that? Okay, and that's another conversation. Yeah. Because what can happen is they can be suffering from low testosterone. We've talked about it in the past. Erectile dysfunction, problems in the erectile dysfunction, problems in the bedroom. Okay, and that's for 2 men to talk about in safety. And I'll say to them, look, that's a physical and mental and emotional issue, yeah, which maybe could even be a sex therapist that's got them help them out with, but it's still anatomy and physiology. And I'll say to them, okay, right, well, at some point that can happen to everyone in their life, but however, being grossly overweight and unfit and eating healthy and alcohol dependent is not going to help the magic room.
Yeah.
It actually can't, can it?
Magic room.
Yeah, so, right, so, and what I found is some men who would not have brought that up in a consultation, and there's a probability they might not have brought it up even into year into training when they've told me all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So now I'll bring it up.
It's a trust thing, isn't it, I think?
It's personal.
Yeah, it's really personal.
And
that's
it's
a
nothing
great
to
question, yeah. You start to dig around what's the why. You know, in the conversations I've had, they've gone quite dark.
Yeah.
You know, because they talk about their family, they're doing it for their kids, they want to be a role model. Yeah. Yeah, the wife doesn't find them attractive anymore. Yeah. All of those things, they really open up.
It's an uncomfortable conversation. Yeah. I've seen it once.
Over the phone, we never met each other before.
Right. Yeah.
Which I take as a bit of a compliment, really. That they feel as though they can open up that much, but they've got themselves to a point where they've been, you know, forced to take action. Yeah. You know, they sort of said, draw a line in the sand, enough's enough, and now I need to change. Yeah.
It comes with
our age
as well.
That's a powerful motivator.
It is.
You know, because you can press that button a little bit in a nice way and use it as a reminder that, you know, just remember, you know, when you have the bad days, because it's never going to be perfect. No. Don't expect when you start working on a personal training program and you go on your journey that it's just going to be linear progress all the way, because it just isn't. Yeah. So trying to
on YouTube perfect, it is. When you watch it on YouTube,
of course it is.
Everyone turns into Thor overnight.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of just say, look, expect the road bumps, expect the curveballs, because life's going to get in the way. Even more so for the 40, 50 years old, because of the responsibilities, work, life, and everything that's going to get thrown at you. Very different for a youngster who's going to be able to train a couple of times a week, and they don't understand it. Yeah. You know, why
they can live on pause as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they can have like a night out and go and lift weights at 7 a.m. in the morning.
Correct.
And it's just Tuesday.
They still run through brick walls. Yeah. Eat shit food. Still drink a load of this, and still got a six pack. That doesn't impress me. Yeah.
But it impresses the girls.
Exactly. Yeah. But give me that 50-year-old that's still doing all of those things in the background and still finding time for themselves, and they still look decent with their kit off, and they still move well, they're healthy, they've got good blood markers and all that sort of stuff, and they're not waving those bad flags of poor health and infirmity. Yeah. So, you know, their future looks very, very good.
You say that, Mark, about dads and mums, wanting to be healthy for the family, and I 100% co-sign that. Yeah. You know when someone says, "Oh, we should be healthy for ourselves first." Okay, always fix yourself to the best you can, then you can help others. That's okay, Grant. Yeah. Right. When you talked about everyone wants to look good, for themselves, but actually I believe people want to look good for other people as well. I don't subscribe to this thing about if someone wants to lose weight, man or woman, they only want to do it for themselves. If that's the case, then they would never leave their house. They'd never brush their teeth or comb their hair. Do people still comb their hair now? Women do. Do men still comb their hair?
No, I didn't mind. Not
like an actual comb.
I certainly don't. It gets buzzed off.
I tell you,
the lid is gone, mate.
Yeah. So, well, I think I'll say to the men, look, okay, granted, we'll call him John again, right, or Dave, right, John, right, Dave. You want to lose 21, 28 pounds because it's going to be healthier, and you want to look good. But look, we're human. You want to look good for the missus, and actually, believe it or not, dudes, blokes, like to look good around other blokes as well.
They do, yeah.
When I go out to dinner, I'm going out to dinner tonight with a few of my pals. These are all married men with kids. We've got 1,000 kids between them, right? Yeah. But they're not going to turn up in shorts and t-shirt with a cap on. We're all going to go out dressed up smart. Yeah. You know what I mean? And these are all better men that are happily married, right? Yeah. They want to look smart. They're not going to turn up scruffy. I don't believe that getting fit and healthy is just for the individual. And that no one else should care. The aesthetics part. Aesthetics, yes, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but aesthetics do come into play. You know, you got nice shoes on. Why do people wear nice shoes? Because you could wear shoes half the price for that could be even more waterproof because they look nice. Yeah. You can't see in the video, you're wearing some nice shoes.
Some really old brogue boots,
you still look cool. And this is where the advent of people like people. Yeah, people like people until they don't. Yeah, and then they want to like someone else until they don't. Right, here's my take on it. This has had a massive part. You touched on it 10 minutes ago, Mark. In the explosion or the it's here to stay of fat jabs. Yeah. Okay.
God,
Of Ozempic and Manjaro.
Yeah.
I was at the Excel Arena this year for the annual Health and Wellbeing Show, and they had a panel there in the afternoon, about 5 or 6 people, and they were talking. And if memory serves me right, I'd have to check my brochure that I got when I went to the panel. They said there was currently 31 more weight loss drugs that had been cleared that are waiting to be released.
Wow.
All the different GOP drugs.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, and they named a few of them. Okay,
Yeah.
it's gone in here, one here. And I thought, well, if there's 31 waiting, that means there's another 31 that are waiting to be patented.
Yeah.
Now, there's the big two.
Huge industry. Yeah.
You know, there is every time I hear about someone that is on Ozempic or Manjaro, 99 times out of 100, it's a woman. Right, there's no way that it's just women that are taking those.
No, I've got some clients. Yeah.
The men?
Yeah.
Okay, and they're taking it now. Were they taking it before they came to see you?
Let me just think. No, some of us decided that we're going to take it, and in all honesty, neither of those two individuals need to take it.
Okay.
So it's
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's on the caveat that, you know, we kind of know what the action is, right? It's affecting hormones of feeling hungry and feeling full.
Mm-hmm.
One of my GP clients, she says they've actually stopped administering it now because the demand was so high. It's costing such a lot of money.
Yeah.
And she was predicting, like a lot of health professionals, that the end result of this is going to be catastrophic.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are using it and losing a load of mass.
Yeah.
It's a mass loss drug.
Yeah.
It's not just a fat loss drug.
Yeah.
And what you're actually doing is you're losing muscle mass along with fat mass. So if you are losing muscle mass, you're making yourself weaker.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We know that
Yeah.
we need muscle mass for strength. So what happens if you then come off the drug? You know, you've made yourself weaker. Your muscle is your metabolic machinery.
Yeah.
That's what burns calories.
Yeah.
You're going to accumulate fat again quicker with less muscle on the body.
Mm-hmm.
So your ability to then lose that muscle again is diminished further.
Yeah.
So yes, you'll lose mass, but you're dropping your metabolic machinery through the floor. Because so the advice along with it has to be, you must strength train, you must maintain a reasonably high protein diet as well to maintain as much of your muscle mass as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But I don't think the majority of people are doing that.
Right.
So they're using the drug and they're losing the mass and high-fiving themselves. I think that's hilarious, actually, and I won't apologise for it when people are celebrating the fact that they're using the drug and they're losing it and they're getting high fives from everybody and saying, "Oh, well done."
When
you see it on social media,
right,
they're not doing it through any.
You see it on social media.
They're just blocking the hormone.
I understand. I understand why Carol or Dave goes on the fat loss drugs, or mass drugs. That's even, they should call it mass weight gain rather than just fat.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And you know when it's an American term I heard, I think last year. It's quite a crude term actually, but you know when they show these kids on social media pages, not kids, people in their, let's say 20s, and they've got their first house, they've got their first mortgage. They call it key jangling.
Yeah.
When they jangle the keys, it's all that. And I always say, well done, you've just bought the debt.
Yeah.
You've just bought the debt of the mortgage, and the facade for the debt is the house that you're in.
Yeah.
You know, the dangling of the keys, and you see it all over. You see people celebrating. You know, Lisa or Tommy, whatever. They've got their first house together. Fantastic. You've got a roof over your head and stability, but no one should celebrate debt. Yeah, granted. So when they're key jangling, everyone's good, great you, good you, whatever. It's all over LinkedIn and Facebook, and I understand it. You want a couple or an individual to have a roof over their head, nice clean home, and it's a form of stability as well and maturity. Right then, what you never see. How much is your mortgage? How much is the backload, front load interest? Because that key jangling, you're what they should do is hold up the mortgage paper with the signature and the blood on the thumb press and say, look what I've just done. And no one would comment. No one would. So you put that back down to the weight loss or the fat loss drugs. I get that when people they can be they want to be friendly, they want to be seen to be friendly. Well done you, but no one ever says on that what exercise are you doing with it. What have you done with your diet? It's always well done you. You've lost 2 or 3 stone. I sit on the fence, Mark. At this moment in time, I sit on the fence with it. I think it's got its place in our industry. It's got a place in the healthcare system. But if that place is to just lose weight, I would perhaps go back to, I wouldn't sit on the fence. I'd be on this side saying, don't take it. But if it's for the GP, the pharmacist, the psychiatrist, or the pharmaceutical company and manufacturers, if they bring in a dietitian, a nutritionist, a trainer to work with said client and say, right, let's form a good habit, because the habit of injecting, you don't want that rest of your life. If someone's a diabetic, that's different. If someone's on warfarin, taking medications for blood thinning, that's different. But to actually be injecting your body to try and lose weight, it's finite. It can't go on forever. What they can do is build a good habit and a relationship with food and exercise. That takes a round of applause.
That's a healthy, sustainable thing to do.
Yeah, because I'd be the guy that's on the social media page saying, well done you. If someone goes into their kitchen and they film themselves throwing out all the rubbish and they say, I've been sober now for 6 months, well done you.
Yeah, awesome.
Because that's a habit that they can take with them for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Why didn't we invest when we heard about these? I wish I had done.
Can you imagine?
We wouldn't be sat here now.
And I think they do have their place, like you say. You know, if it's somebody that's morbidly obese, then they need that kickstart, and there's the education going around them, and it gets them to a good place that allows them to do things that we know are going to be positive, i.e. getting in the gym. Maybe they haven't got the body confidence yet, and they want to lose some weight and then get to that stage. Then, as part of an overall strategy. But I just see people just willy-nilly taking it, and they're doing the selfies and all with their
they're lost so quickly.
And they're the ones that you sort of know they've given all the excuses under the sun. You know, the time they haven't got the knowledge, they've got the know-how, and all of these things, and or genetics. That's the other one. Is that it's my metabolism or it's my genetics. And in fact, I was talking again with the doctor about it, and she's very much around lifestyle management. And genetic factors probably contribute to about 10 to 20% of illnesses and diseases, and it's epigenetics now that's that's the key thing. So the lifestyle, the behaviours, the choices that we make.
Postcode where they live.
There's a great quote actually. She's reading a book at the moment. I'm going to paraphrase here. It was Vonda. Anyway, I'll have to think. But she's a lifestyle, and she comes out with that. Gabrielle Leon, maybe.
Okay. I've heard that actually.
She's longevity expert. And she says that genetics loads the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger.
Right. Interesting.
So it's just a nice little thing to sort of remind people of, that you can take control of a lot of these things, and through your own choices, behaviours, habits, as you said. Put down, get rid of the old hard drive. And that's what I say to my fit dads at the beginning of their journey. We're going to put a new hard drive in, so that you're making much smarter choices. When you're presented with the naughty food, and one thing you're not spiraling out of control and it's just completely reckless. You're thinking about your choices a lot more, and that takes time.
It does take time. It takes and it's not something that, even with your expertise, my expertise, and even someone who comes in with a clear mind, even then it's not guaranteed that John or Jill is going to go on board and double down and actually stick to a plan. And I always say, I think to myself sometimes, again, why doesn't a client who's paid their hard-earned money to come to a trainer and blood, sweat and tears in a session, maybe not tears, but then go home, and load up on bread and biscuits and cakes, and really other people around them. There's a circle around a client, and that will be friends, family, work colleagues, I don't know, even people they watch online. I go on YouTube every day. I feel like I know some of the YouTubers that I watch, because I watch them every day. I watch Patrick Bet-David in the Valuetainment Show. I've been watching him for like 7 or 8 years. I watch Jocko Willink on TV and whatnot. I feel like I know them. Right, I feel like they're part of my circle. They, in some way they are, because I might pick up an idea or a tip or a habit from them, but I don't know them, they're not part of my circle. But what's happening now is we're getting people who are, their circle of friends and family and colleagues is now widened with people that they follow on YouTube. Biggest one in the world, one of the biggest, Dr. Berg. Okay, I've seen Dr. Berg on TV, it's huge, And now, if I get an ailment, after I can look in my books until I go blue in my face and it gets boring, I look on Dr. Berg, on YouTube. I've had clients come and say, oh, Dr. Berg said, and I say, the guy on YouTube. But I've watched that guy, so I know it's quite a good source as well. So we have now got another colleague, friend, family member, so almost like a loved one, someone that we feel that we're close to, but we're not, because they're in California or in London. But because we can watch them 5-6 days a week. They don't know us, do they?
No.
But we can say, okay, right, so and so on YouTube says to do this and to do that. And I think that the social media has been a gift and a curse, and it will be going forward. It's the gift that we could, if you want to learn about physics, you know, I could go on and look at a scholar, someone with a PhD, or, you know, a genuine, you know, a scholar from a Harvard or Yale or from Harrow or from, you know, I don't know, the Mayo Clinic, is it New York, or the Cleveland Clinic? Someone who's actually got papers published on a subject, and I can watch what they're talking about. I haven't got to go to university or read an encyclopedia. So now I've got someone else in my ear, and that must happen with people who are trying to lose weight, need to lose weight, and what happens is they think that the person that I've watched on YouTube knows more. And I always say, that person is not stood next to you. There could be a very, very skilled, knowledgeable, bona fide and trusted source of information, but they've not got their eyes on you. Yeah. That's someone in another country talking to a camera, like we are now. Yeah. I think if someone can meet you, if that same person can meet you, they can give you better advice, because they look for the shows and the tells. They can look for, again, the body language, tease something out of a client. I think that weight loss drugs have got their place in our industry. I wish I'd invested in shares before I knew about it.
Yes, please.
But again, I wouldn't be here if I had done now, because I'd be driving my Bugatti somewhere, throwing everyone behind me down the road. What do you think is going to be, other than those, the weight loss drugs, what do you think is going to be the next big thing in the health and fitness industry?
I think understanding mindset and psychology, I think that's got to be the biggest area. We saw that in sport. You know, there's only so much you can do physically, and with sports medicine and physiology, you know, there's kind of a bit of a ceiling. Whilst trends and things shift, we learn a lot in strength and conditioning from sort of track and field. Our understanding of biomechanics is getting better. There's some really good, shrewd operators out there, but understanding what makes the athlete tick to get the best out of them.
Right.
Because if the mindset's not right,
do you think a psychiatrist, or someone who's not come from a sporting or health and a sporting background, a psychiatrist or maybe even a psychologist, the psychiatrist can dispense. Yes, psychologists will get in our head, or at least unravel. Yeah. Do you think there's a place for a psychiatrist in sport? And you know, elite performance.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, I did work with some athletes that were getting some help around getting some help. Normally around aggression. Yeah, okay. Management. In rugby. Not external factors. It was what was happening on the pitch. Yeah. Controlling, you know, the rage. Yeah. That competitive edge. There's a fine line. Yeah. And such a combative sport and collision type sport, you know, you've got to be up for it or you get dominated. Yeah. You've played physical, you know, sports, you know what that's like. So, and in a very, very on the front foot, domineering sport like rugby, you can't take a backward step. Right. It's all about that ego and fronting up. So. And the age bracket comes into play. What's the average age bracket of professional rugby player now? I'll probably say early 20s through to mid to late 30s. A lot of because of the positional specification, you know, the props don't mature until their late 20s, early 30s. Right. So then they've got another few years after that. Still packed full of testosterone and anger. Yeah, they're big physical men, but because their maximum strength increases to a point, then in the set piece, in the scrum, that's when they begin to really come to their. Right. Whereas some of the wingers, I suppose, you're sort of thinking that they're tapering off as they get slower. Yeah. Okay. And lose that agility and things a little bit through bumps and bangs, the nature of the game, and just miles on the clock. Yeah. As they get into their 30s, whereas a prop will probably play a little bit longer. Gotcha. There's always exceptions to the rule. I mean, Courtney Laws is 36 now, I think he is, and he's in his third season in France and still looking good and still going well. That's old for an impact sport like that. Yeah, and the type of player that he's been, you know, very much on the front foot, dominating, a second row player. You know, he's. And his injury history, etc., but he's still going well. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't still sign another contract. Gotcha. Because you know he's done well. He's done very, very well. So there's always exceptions, and then some players burn out and or bang on the head or whatever. What are those? They stop their career. Right. Those players that they have their career curtailed pretty quick overnight. Just say overnight. Yeah. What do they go on to do? Without generalising too much, I think the rugby players that I've worked with are pretty bright lads. And they've gone on to have their own careers in their own right. Yeah. You know, some of them have earned reasonable money. They don't earn the sort of money that they do in football, of course. Particularly for what they sacrifice in terms of their body. Yeah. but a lot of them have done very well for themselves.
Okay.
I kept in touch with a lot of the
Yeah.
guys that I've worked with, and working in some sort of business or finance or real estate or whatever that means. Some of them go into teaching. A lot of them go into sort of leadership type roles as well, because of the, a lot of what we do in sport, the culture and the leadership type stuff, very much similar parallels into business, taking control and creating an environment of success and winning and excellence.
Yeah.
Because you have that in a sporting environment, you want that in a business environment as well. And you and I both work with business people, and that idea of having a high performing team is exactly what I was used to for the last 10, 15 years working in sport. It's about getting the most out of every individual. What can we look at to get another 1% better? And a lot of the time it was around about management of the training schedule and the body, but also the motivation of those individuals, so you can keep them going and keep them driving.
Is it hard to motivate a professional rugby player?
It depends if they're playing.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, if they're bench warming for a year.
Yeah, and those fringe players, and in rugby you have bigger squads than in football.
Oh, okay.
So the rotation is not as big, but you need those backup players probably 2 or 3 deep for certain positions.
And they've got to be ready.
They've got to be ready and good to go. But if they're, like you say, either on the fringes of playing or in a squad, they've got to accept that they're part of a bigger reason why. But obviously, if you've got high profile players, they don't want to just waste away. So you've got to give them game time, and it's important that they get game time because of the bone on bone. They need to keep that body bone on bone type physicality so that they're ready to go. As you say.
Interesting, because when the World Cup or something's on in rugby, or the one of the big tests or what have you, is it Wales and South Africa today?
I don't know. Actually.
Okay, I think there's a big right. If because when I watch football on TV or basketball, the pundits usually come from a football background or a basketball background. Is that the same in rugby? Okay. Because then at least you've got someone on the bench that isn't just a nice face, and they actually come from rugby. So it's the same in that. So
you could have a link person, don't you? That looks really nice.
The host or whatnot. I can do.
I can do, but the expertise is the panels of ex-players.
Gotcha. Any particular ex-player that you think's gone on to be a great pundit?
I'm going to say Hask, because I've worked with Hask.
Yeah,
he's done stuff like that. Tommy
he's
May,
a big boy as well.
Like listening to Tommy May as well. I used to work with Tommy at the Saints.
Right.
But loads of them have done it. Loads of my ex-colleagues have pop up every now and then. But I don't watch that much rugby, to be honest with you, anymore. If it's on and I'm interested, I'm going to go and watch the Saints just before Christmas. I'm going to go and have a little look, pop my head in and just go and see what they're up to. They're doing well at the minute.
Are they?
Where are they? Coventry. I think they're on top of the league at the moment, as it stands today. But they've got a game. I think they've got to travel down to Bristol, which is always a tough one. But I go to Coventry as well and still say hello to my old colleagues there. Squads change so quickly.
Yeah, of course they do. It's a lot of moving parts involved in it. Okay. Right, we've covered lightly. We've covered a lot of subjects over. What does 2026? What's next year got in store for you? You're going to do. You've got online. You've got your business, your personal training business. You're working with people online as well. You're going for at this moment in time. You're looking at men over the age of 50 years of age. To come on board. Has that already started, or does it start in January?
I'm in the process of sort of advertising for recruiting for those guys, so interested in people that want to take it seriously. So I'll start on the 5th of January with a new cohort of enthusiastic men that want to really sort the shit out, get fit, get strong, strip away any belly fat that they want to do, but really hit some really good goals for them. Whether that's a performance-based goal or more of an aesthetic type goal. But having health at the forefront of the mind, and I want to coach them through it. Personally, 2026, I'll probably do another Athex event. So I've got a final next week. Next Saturday up in Birmingham.
Tough day.
So that's been lovely. I'm working with my buddy Richard. I think I mentioned him on the last trip up here. We've trained solid again for another 12 months, and we've made the final. We're in that sort of higher age bracket now.
How old's Richard?
47.
Okay.
So combined age of
nearly senior citizens, like me.
Nearly centurions.
What's your diet been like? While you're training like that, has your calorific increased by 20-30%?
I track when I need to change certain things. I'm very, very intuitive with my food, and I don't mess about too much. I just try and eat whole food. I have a little bit of naughty stuff every now and then, but I'd say 95% of the time my food is whole food, real food.
Gotcha.
High protein, good sources of carbs, and loads of veg.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy about it, and I just monitor my performance. If I feel as though things are dropping off, I will increase my calories.
Gotcha.
Just eat a little bit more good stuff.
Sleeping all right?
Sleep can be broken sometimes. Again, depends on workload, stress management. That can interfere. No different to most guys there. You know, you get that subconscious kicking in sometimes in the early hours, and then just get up and then just.
And once you're awake.
Yeah, when you're awake, that's it. But I'll have a 6 o'clock client on Monday morning, and I'll probably be awake about 5 o'clock because I know I've got their appointment. So
you've got to be there ready.
That Monday morning ready type.
6 a.m. start. So that is an early start.
So it's a fair start.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I've got in store, mate. Really pushing the online to keep all my current clients happy and fit and strong and well, and then get ready for 2027 because we're thinking of relocating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to Southwest.
Oh okay.
All being well.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, you've heard it first here. You know what though? I say, you know, moving to different places and seeing different people. You know, moving to different places, seeing different people, experiencing different cities, world. I like that. You know.
Yeah.
Bit easier for me, a man on my own. You're a family man. You know what I mean. So there's a lot of moving parts again. You know. So interesting. Okay. What's the Southwest got apart from rain?
Devon.
Okay.
Our best friends live down that way as well, and we've had some smashing holidays down that way. So it's the Devon Cornwall attraction.
Yeah. That's
so
a lot of cakes.
It's a lot of scones.
Yeah, that's what I meant actually.
Yeah, a lot of scones.
Yeah, is it the cream or the jam that goes on top?
Jam on it, jam, and then put cream on.
For anyone watching, when you're over in the UK, we have these things called scones or scones, and they have the cream and the jam.
Amazing.
Which goes on first?
I don't know whether Cornwall they do cream, but I might be wrong here.
Yeah.
Cream first, then jam. But personally, jam.
I like
a little bit of cream.
About once a year, maybe twice a year. Once a year I'll have one, twice a year. I like them, nice. Too nice though, you know, otherwise it becomes a habit. Well, for me, next year is not to travel. Next year, I've got, I might be changing my location, but in terms of house, I might move to a different property. And we know house moving is quite stressful, quite simple for me because I've downsized a lot of my stuff. I'm not a minimalist, but I'm certainly not a hoarder. I've got less stuff, you know. I like people, I like places more than I like stuff. Yeah. That might change one day, but for now, so next year I won't be travelling to anywhere exotic or interesting, but certainly the year after, 2027, I'll flip a coin and decide where I want to be, back to the Far East again, or maybe even places in Europe. I've not gone to Europe like a lot of other people have. You know, I'd like to see all these major cities in Europe.
The Interrail is supposed to be really popular now, isn't it?
What's that? Sorry?
Interrailing. So on train, just taking you through Italy, you know, start in the north and you go all the way down and then back up and do it by train and you see it's quite cost effective.
Something like that, we'll see. Fitness training wise, first thing is to get my knee sorted out, my achy knee. Okay. Other than that, I think I'll probably between now and March put on about 5, maybe 6 pounds in weight. You know, not half a stone, 5, maybe 6 pounds because we're coming into winter and I eat more and I spend less time outdoors. I still like going outdoors, as anyone who follows my channel, but it's less. Yeah, sweating less, outdoors less. Probably eat more calories, more hotter food and what have you. So, but I'm not looking to, at 55, I'm not looking to stay shredded or ripped or anything like that. I used to be able to achieve that really almost overnight because of my build and my lifestyle habits and knowledge, you know, in whichever order. I can still do it, but now what I like to be is mobile, flexible, strong, sleep well, eat well. It's more important than aesthetics. Aesthetics are still important, but they're not as important as it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah. But in the meantime, I'm always going to go back to those off the key questions. All right. I've asked you. I thought both times you come on our channel, like I asked all my guests. At the moment in time, okay, you can go tomorrow morning, all expenses paid. You and the good lady, where would you go?
Oh, probably Bali. Bali, because Grace has been and she loved it. My eldest daughter.
Yeah, loved it.
I'd love to go there. Getting Sue on the plane would be a challenge, but I think once I got her there, she'd love it.
Fear of flying?
Yeah, fear of flying.
I've got a mate who's got it as well. Yeah.
It doesn't go on haul, isn't it? That one. Maybe short haul. Go to somewhere nice in Italy. Nice 4 hours. Yeah, and it's still hot and romantic and pretty. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. All right. So tomorrow morning it will be Italy. If not, if you can get the good lady on a plane, it'll be Bali. Yeah. Okay. All right. What's your next movie you're gonna go and see? Well, we started watching Stranger Things last night. So
Season 5?
Yeah, started watching that last night. Got the family downstairs and we were watching that, which was good fun.
That's family time.
Yeah,
what if it was
good.
date night and you're going into Northampton Town or Milton Keynes with a good lady?
What would we watch? It has to be something that Sue chooses.
Yeah.
But she's good actually.
Mamma
She
Mia
likes
5.
Action. No, she likes action films.
Oh, okay.
So
Avatar 3 next
we
month.
just watched the last Mission Impossible one recently.
Oh, yeah.
We got that one
Yeah.
down and did that one. That dude,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
I like
is
Tom
still-
Cruise. I
yeah.
don't like Mission Impossible anymore.
Oh, really?
I think it's paint by numbers now.
Yeah.
I think Tom Cruise is the gold standard in Hollywood.
Yeah.
After Clint Eastwood, you know, how to have a long career and keep yourself intact as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, he is.
what
Yeah.
he's done.
Yeah, I thought the early Mission Impossible movies were incredible, but
Yeah.
okay, but I like Tom Cruise. I think he's actually played some very serious roles that get overlooked. Born on the 4th of July,
Yeah.
Collateral,
Big time.
Last Samurai. He has actually been in serious roles
Last
other
Samurai's a
than
good film.
other than Mission Impossible. Okay, so you've got the place you're going to go. If there was a Mission Impossible 11, you're going to go and see that when it comes out. All right, and finally, what's a vice that you've still got that you'd like to tone down or reduce a bit for 2026?
Dark chocolate.
Yeah, I have that. But is it a vice though?
I'm trying to think.
70%, 80%?
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it.
I
I
do.
know at Christmas I'll be smashing it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
And
dark
then-
chocolate.
and then
It's
come
not
on.
a vice, is it? It's supposed to be good for you. I'm boring as hell, Tristan.
You know what? If your vice is reducing the amount of dark chocolate, mine started 3 months ago. I think it was 3 months ago. I cut down on caffeine.
Right.
I used to have 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day.
Yeah.
One first thing in the morning, where your eyes are still closed.
Yeah.
One after my first appointment at work, and one during the midday if I've got a long day. I've gone down to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still drink coffee, but I have decaf now. And I used to joke and say, you know, that's like going to a steak, having a steak in a restaurant and saying, can you take the protein, the vitamins and the fat out?
Yeah.
But it took me about, I'd say 3 weeks, maybe 4,
Yeah.
to get used to slurring my words throughout the day, because I'd gone from one coffee, which is 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I could still be at work at 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So I have decaf throughout the day now, and it's one of the best things I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still have that first thing morning coffee? Do you?
First thing in the morning.
Yeah.
This morning it was about 5:45.
Okay.
Look,
Are you
America-
hydrating first? Or are you?
I have 500 millilitres of
Water. First.
electrolytes water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
I have my Nalgene bottle in the fridge, full of water,
That's it.
but that comes after the caffeine.
Ah.
Yeah. Now I know they should say you should hydrate first
Yeah.
and then enjoy the coffee.
Yeah.
But I like the taste of my
Do you?
coffee first thing. But then it's literally, I put so much water, fluids in me in the morning. That habit now is ingrained.
Yeah.
But for me, that vice of that stopped about 3 months ago. I tried to do the math when I was in China for 2 weeks. I think on only 2 days I was there, and some of the days are long days on foot. Only 2 days out of 14, I had 2 coffees in 1 day.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was decaf or, get this, jasmine tea.
Yeah.
Have you ever had jasmine tea?
Nice. Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. But other than that, advice for next year will be one that we'll talk about off camera.
Okay. I love it. Brilliant.
That's it.
Top man.
Mark,
Thanks, mate. Enjoy
until
that.
the next one,
Yeah,
have a nice
I'll
Christmas.
be back next year.
Yeah, and I'll see you next year. Drive
Yeah.
steady.
Happy Christmas.
That's it. Mark's the first person to be on my channel 3 times over, and it's always a pleasure for me to have Mark up here, because
Likewise.
actually, as a trainer to a trainer, you remind me of certain things as well, to actually always dial things in myself and think about things more. You know, it's good for me to actually speak to another professional in the health and fitness industry, and think, yeah, I must get back to doing that. I must get back to, reining something in, or working on something more that I hear from yourself.
Yeah,
You know,
likewise.
it actually does help me. But I always say, Mark, let's make our appointments personal. Let's always make it personal, and not 6-pack and bulging arms. So the channel's Health No Filter, and can find me on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, LinkedIn and Facebook. And I think this is episode 110, 111, and we're going to try and get to 200 by summer next year.
Awesome.
But that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming in, Mark.
Thanks, mate.